Japanese Horror Stories. Master Series. Teacher. Part 4. After fully imagining every expression of anger, I took 5 deep breaths. After 5 times, 3 more times, and then 4 more times, I set foot in the cave. The inside is cool because the sunlight doesn't reach it. The heat from the outside chased me, but after turning the corner several times, it went away. Remove the flashlight from the rucksack. I couldn't find the one Shige-chan brought out yesterday, so it's a smaller one I found in the closet. A thin streak of light illuminates the front of my eyes, but the inside of the cave is crooked, so the visibility is poor. I don't know when something scary will pop out beyond the corner. I proceed to the depths of the cave, horrifying around my neck. A face made of rock can never get angry. Every time such an idea comes to mind. No, I don't know what will happen in this world, he says. So, I don't know what will happen. I went deep into the cave, carefully searching for hidden branches. And when I went around a familiar corner, a white thing jumped in front of me. Baiku, my back stretches. It's a face. Face entry. The moment I saw the white face of the cave, just like yesterday, I was stuck in the cave. I was nauseous rather than scared. What is this? Despite repeating image training so much, there was an eerie figure that I had never imagined. The huge face that stretched from his feet to the ceiling was laughing. With squinting eyes, the wrinkles on the mouth are not straight in the vertical direction, but spread out in the horizontal direction. The cheeks are round and the edges of the mouth are gently raised. Was this the usual face of a monk who became a Buddhist priest at the end of this cave? However, the impression that the shy face brought was nauseous and bizarre. Shige-chan and I came here together, and met a face that holds back anger. After that, Taro came here alone, and met an angry face. And the next day, now I'm facing a laughing face. What exactly is this? My legs quiver. There is an illusion that the white face in front of you changes its shape like a candy. But is that really an illusion? Although I was almost crying, I carried out the confirmation work that I had decided to do only this. While drinking raw spit, he scolds his trembling legs and gradually approaches his face. As my face grows larger, I feel that this narrow space is like a different space separated from the world. It's no wonder what happens. Still, I stick out my face and shed light on the surface of the face entrance. When I looked closely, the paint was peeled off in places, and black stains were noticeable on my white face. The surface was certainly rock, and it was clear that the face painted on it was not yesterday's today. It was supposed to be in a cave here, with the same face for years, or even decades. Just below the face is a sharp rock with paint like broken teeth. Even if I laugh, it glows pale like a proof that I had fangs just a while ago. I was struck by a different chill, and ran away. I look back and go back to the way I came. I think he screamed, "Wow." It may have been a girl. Anyway, I kept running, almost falling over and over again. The illusion of a white hand chasing me came to my mind more clearly than yesterday. I'm scared. I'm scared. What's this? What's this? Even so, I braked the moment I saw the shining sunlight ahead of the road. I jumped out of the cave, and was able to stop in front of the cliff. It was good because it was daytime. At night, I might have swam my hands and feet under the dark sky like a continuation of a cave. I feel a strange sign on my back. Looking back, I felt that the hem of the red kimono fluttered in the back of the cave. It quickly disappears into my memory, and I don't know if it was a reality, or an illusion. I quivered and asked in a whisper from the entrance of the cave. Someone is there. It couldn't have been. The inside is a straight road. At the den end, the rock on that face entrance is stuck. It digs into the ground, walls, and ceiling, and doesn't look like it's moving. So just because no one was in the middle of the cave doesn't mean anyone is hiding behind the rock. What do you call this kind of thing? I was doing it on TV the other day. So. Closed room. It's a closed room. There must be a monk who became a mummy alive in the closed room. I made meditation in total darkness and kept the same expression on my face. Is that face angry? Am I laughing? Oh my goddess. Somehow I was dying and I ran away. Go around the cliff and run down the mountain road. Without looking back. Spatter your sweat. As I keep running, saying it best, my head begins to imagine. When the face is angry, bad things happen. Grandpa said, that's terrifying. It may be true. Perhaps Taro fell off the cliff because it was in the bad thing. An invisible hand may have pushed its back in front of the cliff. But the face entrance I saw earlier was laughing. But I don't think it implies anything fun. I wonder why he was laughing in the depths of a dark cave where no one would normally come. The imagination exaggerates the smile on the face and spreads to the fullest of the field of vision, no, to the full of the head. I kept running, jumping over the roots of the tree, trying to shake off the strange figure. That night, while eating dinner, my uncle told me that Taro could be discharged in 3 or 4 days. I was relieved, but Shige-chan, the mastermind and boss, had the most relieved face. After I finished eating, I thought I'd tell Shige-chan that I went to the cave on the face entrance again. He said, I'm tired, so I'm going to sleep, and he was put in the futon in no time. For some reason, I felt strangely scared to tell other people about the smile on my face. I decided to watch TV in the living room, making excuses for myself. I can't help it because I fell asleep. There was a professional wrestling broadcast on the other side of the cathode ray tube. A scary-faced foreign wrestler was rampaging inside and outside the mat. The expression changed from moment to moment, and there was no same face at any moment. A glaring face, a strong face, a painful face, a laughing face, a barking face. Alongside my grandma doing the repairs, I was sitting in front of the TV all the time. The next day, after seeing Shige-chan, who was a little cheerful, go out to play in the morning, I started preparing to go to school during the summer vacation. While thinking about how to talk to the teacher about the cave, I pretended to do my homework. Grandma came into the room with a duster. She fluttered around furniture and walls, and when she was moving a little heavy, she said "Hey," and dusted for an hour. I wanted to get out early, but somehow I lost timing, and was frustrated in a room that was getting dustier and dustier. Then, maybe she had finished dusting all the way, when Grandma stood in front of her while tapping her waist. She stared at my face seriously. And she said are you tired? For the past few days, I'm sure I'm tired of all sorts of things. Still, I knew that Taro could be discharged soon, and she wanted to see the teacher she couldn't meet yesterday early. She wanted to meet and talk. I stood up saying separately and left the room, leaving my grandma walking. The sun was shining on the outside as usual, and the traces of sunburn on the arms extending from the half-sleeves were aching. While passing by an acquaintance's aunt and saying good morning. When I walk down an empty road, I feel that my legs are heavy. I'm tired after all. I could only eat a cup of tea for breakfast. Still, my legs moved wonderfully fast. Aiming for the destination where the incoming clouds cast a big shadow on the ridgeline of the northern mountain. Islamic states that have repeatedly divided and founded, such as the Abbasid, the Caliphate of Cordoba, and the Fatimid dynasty. It steadily expanded its power to Turkey, the Iberian Peninsula, and North India. Among them, the Seljuk dynasty that invaded the territory of the Byzantine Empire, the successor of the Roman Empire. It even oppressed the Christian sanctuary of Jerusalem. Under the command of the Pope, the Western nations finally sat up and formed the Crusaders. Even after the successful first expedition, the Crusaders changed their opponents, such as the Turks and Saladin of Egypt. It seems that the second, third, fourth, and finally the seventh, but it was not settled with the Islamic forces. It would be so. Even now, there are many people who say ensure by wrapping a turban or wearing a scarf. I watch it on TV. Everyone couldn't have been killed. They are ahead of the history that the teacher teaches. With that in mind, the events in the distant world that the teacher talks about, I realize that it is not a story of a fantasy world, but a connection to the present where I am alive. When something great happens, it affects somewhere in today's human society. That's why I took the teacher's class with excitement that I couldn't find in other subjects. The history of China, where many kanji appear, was forgiven just by touching it. So what happened? During the break after the lecture on world history, I was worried about how to talk about the cave, and the teacher asked me. Thanks to that, I talked about everything without cheating on the fact that I ran away. It's not cool. I wonder if it was Genmetsu. The teacher sits in his usual seat by the window and listens with a serious look. Her floral white clothes reflected the shining sunlight and looked shining. This morning, the teacher waved to me in the schoolyard through the window on the second floor with the usual smile, without being angry that I didn't come yesterday. It's today, but yesterday it seems that no other child came. I'm sure the teacher was waiting for me in the classroom all morning. She wore her cheeks by the window on the second floor, staring at the playground. When I think about it, my chest hurts. A young, beautiful, smart and kind person like a teacher. Waiting for a child like me in such a mountain where nobody comes. I don't say the teacher, but I'm sure there was something I wanted to do in Tokyo. She may have been a favorite person. Throw away all that and come back to this countryside. Throughout the summer, I've been waiting for just a few students every day at such an Onboro school. While I'm solving math problems, sometimes the teacher is absent-minded looking out the window. At that time, the teacher is there, but she feels like she isn't there. Every time I peeked into her profile, I felt sad. There was such a thing. The teacher nodded with his bent index finger on the tip of his chin. I've heard of Michi Kawari. When I was a kid, it seems that boys were trying their best. I have never seen it, but it's a strange story. The teacher muttered, showing that vague expression for a moment. For some reason, I hurriedly asked, do you think this is the case? When the teacher opened his eyes wide as he returned to me. The world is full of mysteries. Especially in such a countryside, there are strange superstitions and legends right next to life. Much closer than the physics and math learned at school. I was almost forgetting as my city life became longer. When the teacher took a breath, the outside was noisy and the cicadas were squeaking, but the inside of the classroom was a strange scene. Is it because the mysterious power that is not learned at school is working that the rocks just get angry and laugh? Is it possible to build a shrine by calling a mere forest a guardian forest? The face of my father who can push me into a dark and narrow place to punish me. After being alone in the dark, that unturned feeling, like someone behind me, passed through my head. But as a teacher teaching science and math, that's not the end of it. What should I say at that time? The teacher stood up slowly and made that lovely expression that taught me something I didn't know yet in a fun and gentle way. It's my favorite face that makes me excited. The teacher stands on the podium, holds the choke, and runs his hand on the blackboard. I forgot to breathe and stared at the white, cool lines drawn by his fingers. The teacher opens his mouth with a chalk in his hand. You first went into the cave with Shige-chan the night before yesterday. On the blackboard, a picture of a cave and two humans with only circles and lines are drawn. Above that is the mark 1. There was a rock on the face entrance in the back of the cave on one pondo, and I couldn't go beyond the mummy of the monk. The two returned to the entrance after seeing their faces on the verge of getting angry. An arrow that goes and returns is drawn in the cave. And scribbled before getting angry. After that, Taro went into the cave by himself instead. As two, another person with only circles and lines. I heard a scream from inside the cave, and Taro ran out, and then rushed down the cliff. The arrow turned and fell from the exit of the cave. Taro says, I got angry with my face. The word after getting angry is in the place where the arrow too makes a U-turn in the back of the cave. The next day, yesterday's day, you went to the cave again, this time alone. 3. I confirmed it at that time, but the cave was a straight road, and there was no place to branch or hide people. Right? Nod. There was a rock on the face in the back of the cave, but this time I was laughing. The teacher wrote laughing at the end of the arrow 3. That's it. The face entrance was laughing. Faced with a white face in the deepest part of the cave, which would be pitch black without the light of a flashlight in the daytime. My spine gets cold, remembering a scene that doesn't seem to belong to this world. I checked at that time, but the paint on the rock was so old that it didn't look like it was repainted yesterday or today. That's right. Nod. The teacher lifted the chalk and wrote old on top of laughing. And on before getting angry and after getting angry, old? I wrote it with a question mark. The teacher turned around and raised his right eyebrow and mouth edge. I didn't get close to the face entrance the night before yesterday and check it. That's right if you ask. But after that, I never thought that the rock would really get angry or laugh, so it can't be helped. A rock with white paint was sticking out just below that face entrance. The rock that you thought was like a fallen Fong. I wonder if the paint was also old. By the way, I haven't confirmed it. I just thought it was the same paint as my face. Then, it may have been attached when I repainted it recently. Even repainting. After all, the reason why the teacher got angry and laughed was that someone was repainting the rock. Yeah. When you confirmed yesterday, old paint was in use. Therefore, there is no doubt that the rocks were not repainted before that. And after you and Shige came out, it wouldn't be possible for someone to repaint until Taro entered by himself. There is only one entrance, and there is no place to hide. You guys were watching the entrance too. That's right. That's right, but why did your face get angry? The answer is 1. Like math. The face you saw with Shige the day before yesterday wasn't drawn on a rock. There was a shock like being beaten. Certainly, I didn't look at it as close as I did the second time. I was told that it was drawn on a rock by the time I entered the cave, so I honestly thought so. I wonder if it was a white-painted haribote. But wait. Even if it's a haribote, why does the face change? What I want you to remember here is the day before yesterday, when you gathered at a secret base and talked about going to the cave of the face entrance. The teacher looked naughty and stared at me to try. Remember? At that time, Shige-chan said, I think it's okay to recognize this as our companion. I tried to take me to the cave on the face entrance that night. Then everyone was scared and ran away with various excuses. And while Taro, who didn't want to be scared, was flirting, he was caught by Shige. Hit me. Something flashed in my head. Desperately put together your thoughts so that it doesn't go anywhere. That night. There must have been only me, Shige-chan, and Taro-chan in the cave in the mountains. No one else can come to such a place in the middle of the night. But there are those who knew that 3 of us would be there that night. Others who were scared and said, I won't go. And haribote of the face entrance. All right. I was hiding behind haribote from the beginning. Even before we entered the cave. I never thought that someone was waiting in such a place. But they can do that. I knew we were coming. Hiding behind haribote in before getting angry, I passed Shige-chan with me. Before Taro-chan came in after that, I replaced it with another haribote I had prepared and made it after getting angry. Perhaps he had his face drawn on both sides of the round haribote and just turned it over. Then, Taro screams when he is surprised that the face that should have been drawn on the rock is angry. After we went down the mountain carrying the injured Taro, we withdrew the whole haribote. I'm sorry. Who did this prank? Is it Taka-chan, Toshibo, Yusuke, or Kat-chin? Perhaps everyone at that secret base. They are cowardly. I'll do it. I'm going to get rid of Shige-chan as well. The teacher listened to me talking about that with my emotions, but suddenly my complexion changed. Wait a minute. What did you say now? You can see that the teacher's cheeks, which usually have a calm face, are tense. His eyes are wide open and his white eyes are widened. His eyebrows hang up. The word is not asking. I don't care about this answer. It is a confirmation ritual before such an explosion. What did you say? The voice is sharp and squeaky. Oh no. Suddenly, my legs trembled at the unexpected development. You can see what will happen in the future. It's the same as my homeroom teacher. I hate this time the most. I'm often yelled at for something bad, but it's time to reserve before yelling. The time when I couldn't move like it was frozen was the scariest thing for me. I wonder why. Was I'll do it bad? Or did he make a mistake that he didn't even notice? It hasn't been so long since I met. It seems like an idiot was happy to think that he was a gentle teacher with a familiar face. What on earth made the teacher angry? I think about that, just waiting for the explosion of anger that has accumulated. I couldn't stand the terrifying gaze that glared at me, and I closed my eyes unintentionally. You know what you said? The voice that seems to have been killed is approaching. Oh, I'm pulled. That's the moment I thought. A soft thing touched my cheek. The cheek meat is pulled from side to side. I was surprised and opened my eyes. In front of me was the gentle face of the teacher who smiled. I'm sorry. Did you think you were angry? It was my first time to see it so close. Its face with short bangs sits cutely on a long, slender neck. I thought I was a lot older than me, but then I looked like a little older girl. That makes her chest throbbing. It may have been mixed with the tension that I thought would get angry. I was misunderstanding, so I just wanted to teach you in an easy-to-understand manner. The teacher quickly left my side and returned to the podium, saying something I didn't understand.